Ever wonder why some conversations just click? Like you're totally in sync with the other person, ideas are flowing, and you walk away feeling energized.
Yeah, definitely. But honestly, those conversations seem kind of rare. More often it feels like I'm just waiting for my turn to talk or trying to remember what I was going to say.
Totally. And I bet a lot of people can relate to that. I mean, think about it. Celeste Headley's TED Talk, 10 Ways to Have a Better Conversation, has over 30 million views.
Wow, 30 million. That's incredible.
Yes. So clearly, there's a huge appetite for figuring out this whole conversation thing. And that's what we're doing today, diving deep into the art of conversation, using Headley's insights as our guide. Kind of like a masterclass in connecting with others.
I like that, a masterclass. It is kind of an art, isn't it?
Totally. And like any art, it takes practice and some know-how. So let's start with the basics. Headley argues that good conversations, really good conversations, are built on 4 key ingredients: honesty, brevity, clarity, and listening.
Okay, those sound pretty straightforward, but I guess the real trick is, how do you actually put those into practice?
Exactly. It's not just about knowing the words, it's about how you use them, right?
Yeah.
So let's break down each ingredient a bit. Brevity, for instance, is about being concise and to the point, but without sacrificing engagement. Like, you don't want to bore people with a monologue.
Right, it's finding that balance, like a good appetizer. You want just enough to whet your appetite, but not so much that you're stuffed before the main course even arrives.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And then there's honesty. It's about being genuine, of course,
Yeah.
but also being mindful of the context. You don't want to blurt out everything you're thinking, especially if it could be hurtful or inappropriate.
Right. It's about being authentic, but also tactful and sensitive to the other person's feelings.
Exactly. And clarity. Well, that's all about making sure your message is understood. Using language that resonates with the person you're talking to. No jargon or fancy words that go over their head.
Yeah, clarity's super important. It's about avoiding those wait, what moments in a conversation.
Definitely. And then we have the big one, the MVP of conversation, listening. And I don't just mean hearing the words, but truly absorbing what the other person is saying, paying attention to their tone, their body language, the whole package.
That's tough sometimes, especially with all the distractions we have these days. Phones buzzing, thoughts racing through our heads, It's easy to zone out.
It is. But that's where Headley's 10 rules for better conversations come in. They're like little hacks, little strategies to help us become better listeners and better conversationalists overall. Now, we won't have time to go through all 10 today, but let's pick a few that stand out. What do you think about don't pontificate?
Oh, I like that one. I think we've all been stuck in conversations with someone who just wants to lecture, right? They're not really interested in what you have to say. They just want to hear themselves talk.
Right, they've got their soapbox and they're not getting off it. But great conversations are about exchanging ideas, not just broadcasting your own. It's about being open to learning something new, even if it challenges your own beliefs.
Absolutely. And I think another one that's really important, especially in today's world, is go with the flow. Conversations aren't scripted. You can't predict where they'll go, and that's okay. Some of the most interesting conversations happen when you just let go and see where the current takes you.
That's so true. Like, I remember this one time I was at a dinner party. I started talking to someone about, I think it was about gardening, actually. And somehow we ended up having this deep philosophical discussion about the meaning of life.
Wow, from gardening to the meaning of life. That's amazing.
Right. It was totally unexpected, but so cool. Okay, we have to talk about listening. Headley's advice on this is gold. She stresses that good listening goes beyond just hearing the words. It's about being present, being fully engaged with the other person.
So how do you actually do that? Are there any practical tips for becoming a better listener?
Definitely. Headley suggests things like putting away your phone, making eye contact, and asking clarifying questions. It's about showing the other person that you're truly interested in what they have to say.
That makes sense. It's about creating that space for the other person to feel heard and understood.
Exactly. So for all our listeners out there, I challenge you. Pick one of Headley's rules, just one, and really try to apply it in your next conversation. Notice how it changes the dynamic, how it makes you feel, and how the other person responds.
Yeah, I'm going to try that too. Maybe I'll start with don't pontificate. I can definitely work on that one.
Me too. And if you're really inspired to up your conversation game, definitely check out Headley's full TED Talk. It's full of even more great tips and insights.
And on that note, I'll leave you with this thought. What if you approached your next conversation as a kind of treasure hunt? What if you went in with the mindset of discovering something new, something valuable in the other person's words and experiences?
Ooh, I love that. a treasure hunt for connection and understanding. What could be better than that?